Alrighty. Let me make sure it's public. There we go. All right. So,
Ba-ba-bum.
let's get started. And today we're gonna start and diversify to more games. And this is mainly for my own use. I'm not good at TFT by any means, but I just want to see how top challenger players how they really think about the game. Especially, I want to review one of the most popular players of TFT, like Bebe, Bebe 872, because he really impresses me when I watch his games. And you might not, if you're not familiar with TFT, it might seem like, hey, this game is just RNG hell. Like whoever gets you force a comp, whoever gets the best units, and whoever has the most luck wins. But at this level, uh, people are much better at capitalizing on a lot of shit. So for example, they play the units they hit. They know how to position. They know how to econ and stuff. And okay, let me and luck is less of a factor here, and I really want to see how, especially as the top players, they can really consistently look for those easy top fours even if their luck is down. So I really want to see how a top challenger plays this game, especially Bebe, who has really good APM as well as really good positioning and awareness. Those are his strengths. He isn't that successful in tournament situations because because there is a difference between tournament players and just ladder players in TFT, but in general the skill sets for both tournaments and ladder, they're the same, they're similar. And Bebe it has high APM but and also good positioning. Wait, did you just realize that Overwatch is done? I've realized it long ago, but um, I'm just starting to diversify my content because I want to because I like Overwatch. I like Overwatch, but dead game. The devs are fucking incompetent at managing the game. Do you know that Overwatch used to be the second most popular game in Korean PC like internet cafes, and then guess what happened? It was touted as the League killer, League of Legends killer, and guess what happens? Now this fucking League minigame has 5 times more viewers than Overwatch on Twitch. Also, thoughts on a new fun patch. Oh my god, what the fuck are they doing? The 6-second grapple nerf was just unnecessary. It only nerfs ball against one comp. If you're playing against a 6-man, for example, having the long grapples and on control, you can spin around the pillar. I know this is an Overwatch stream, but if you can spin around, there are a lot of nice grapple spots on control maps against 6-man. And if you watch Shanghai versus Dallas in the June Joust finals, the real finals, then you can see how Fate watch Fate's POV. There is a video online that just shows Fate's POV, but watch how he just grapples for 10 or 15 seconds around a pillar, and it really was really effective against Dallas. I think with the 6-second nerf, Shanghai would not have won June Joust. That's what it nerfs. It nerfs that matchup, but otherwise it doesn't do jack shit. It doesn't do jack shit except make ball a bit more annoying. And sure, having a more annoying ball might be a slight nerf, but it's just unnecessary, especially when you don't even have a fucking indicator for when the fucking grapple breaks. Are developers really incompetent to really come from the fucking? Oh my god, holy shit! I don't know what Overwatch is doing anymore. It's like there's a reason this fucking League minigame has 5 times more viewers than Overwatch on Twitch. Like it has like 60,000 like on a good day. Overwatch is like 15,000 on a good day, but I know that's 4 times. They really wanted that free that free change to that free change to go like so bad. Oh my god, the fuck are they doing? I'm like Overwatch 2 is I have like little hope for it. Like Overwatch 2 might be popular for 1 or 2 years, but like it will never compete. Like Overwatch 2 might be good, but like there's one killer thing it has against Overwatch 2. It's the fact that Blizzard owns the Overwatch brand and develops Overwatch. Like I mean, well, if Overwatch was under Riot's control, then absolutely would just be like it would still be like not dead. I haven't played Overwatch in like 2 months. Like there's nothing new. There's nothing new except like a fucking bunch of changes in the fucking recycled skins that take 5 minutes for me to design on Paint. All right, back to TFT. So, right here, so Bebe like takes bow, and bow is a semi-flexible item. Like in that, you can build like static shiv, and you can build static shiv if you're going like an AP comp, or like there's also Ginsu's which works well on Kaisa. But overall, when you're going bow, you're gonna be thinking of playing like an AD comp. Like if you get AP items, well, you can like try to play like a hybrid comp and transition to Kaisa. Like Kaisa's like a decent holder for like Ginsu's, or you could play Static Shiv, but for that like you need a tier, and that just might waste like a valuable mana item that a lot of like the early carries will really use, as well as like some of the late carries like Lux. So like I think Bebe here is going to just play an AD comp, and maybe like he'll mix it up a bit if he receives like a tier or a rod, like a lot of them. But like I think he's gonna like go towards AD here, and he's going to like get Last Whisper. He might not build Last Whisper, of course. He might get 3 items. All right, so right here. Oh, this is actually like a pretty high roll starter. Like he gets a double Graves, and Graves is actually like a really solid early tank because if we see the champions, let's take a look. So, all right. So like where's Graves? Like Graves has 750 HP at 1 star. And that's huge. Like Alawi has like 700, but Graves has 750 HP, and you might not like he might not seem like a tank, and he doesn't provide any tank synergies. But like if we ignore the synergies for a bit, and you don't have any like bodyguards or bruisers, well, Graves is a really good like starting like tank, so to speak. And also another thing, let's take a look at his attack damage. Graves is pretty good, like I mean, pretty decent, like attack damage as well. And even though like Garen, Alawi, they have like a bit more, like if you can't find if you have find Laird Twin Shot, then like he can like do quite a bit of like damage. Um, Wait, no, your Discord POV has been a league character forever. I shouldn't have been in shock. Switching to Paladin seems like a better game. Also, what is this game? Like this game is just like a strategy card game. It's like auto chess, like Dota. It was inspired by like Dota auto chess, but this is like a really interesting like strategy game. It's kind of like League-ish, not really, but it's kind of like it simulates League, like team fights in League, but instead of like having to play the characters, you get to choose like what roster you want to go. You get like there's like synergies, like for example, like it's in Korean, but like if you play like 2 units that have like the same synergy, it's kind of like a trait. Well, you get like a certain bonus, and and like you can combine those. It's just like the perfect game for like all those Overwatch players who prefer to win in the hero select screen rather than play the fucking game. I'm sorry for ranting a bit, but like if I'm being serious, if you want counter comp constantly, this is the game for you. Like this game is all about like also countering. For example, let's say like someone's playing like attack damage comp, you can go like anti-attack damage items or play like bodyguard, which gives like extra armor, and armor goes like blocks attack damage. But if you're going for like more magic damage or like ability power, then like there's like some different counters for that. But this is the perfect game if your Overwatch strategy consists of constantly counter picking. But like right here, so he's not taking the grave. I mean, he is going to like he only takes like a diverse like he takes only one of the graves. Like he takes a diversity of units. Um and unfortunate he doesn't get golden. I think he was trying to I think the problem is that like if he like buys both the graves, then he would have to sell like Ziggs. And let's take a look at like the all the units. So, and Ziggs, let's take a look at his damage. Pretty pathetic, to be honest. But would I should you just take the Graves pair? Okay, let's take a look at the DPS because like as I said, does like not only does what was it? Graves have like quite a bit of damage. He also is like pretty tanky. So, like 36 DPS. Ziggs does like 33. Okay, where the fuck is Ziggs? Oh, 30. So I'm surprised I didn't like take the Graves pair here. He was probably just gambling a bit, but gambling that he would get. I still play Overwatch QWQ. Wow. You were playing a dead game. No, just kidding. I'm still gonna make Overwatch videos, don't worry, but just want to diversify my, offerings. So I'm surprised I didn't take like the Graves pair here. And he's probably gambling, but like even then, you could just buy both Graves, put them on your bench, put them on the board, and if you get like gold, then you can just buy the Ziggs. But really interesting to see that he didn't take the Graves pair there. Okay, so he has Bodyguard Augment. I think this is a weak spot. It's in Korean. This is like Imperial Augment. But like he actually takes the Bodyguard, and this is what I expected. Because the thing with TFT like this set is that like early game like tanks are king. Early game DPS are pretty pathetic, especially when you don't have the right carry items. And right here he does have Last Whisper, but that's not enough to like go like greed for like maybe. And I mean like even then like weak spot, Last Whisper, they're pretty redundant. But because like weak spot kind of shreds armor, but also Last Whisper shreds armor. So but like going bodyguard start, he can probably like look for a win streak here because like tanks are like amazing in early game because you don't have enough DPS. The enemy boards don't have enough DPS to really shred through tanks. They don't have any anti like armor items as well to kind of shred through bodyguard. Like you can't expect players to like build something like Last Whisper early on, like or like too many of like Last Whispers or any armor shredding items. And like the counter to this, and like also another reason why he chose bodyguard augment here was because assassins, and assassins like well not assassins well it's more like no let me think. It's more like like backline carries. They without like units to kind of like in the early game, like backline carries are a bit scuffed because of assassins. Because like if you have like six, if you're at level six, then you can try to place some units in the back, try like protect them against the assassins. But on the other hand, you're gonna like kind of grief your front line doing that. I so like I think the reason why he's why he's like choosing bodyguard, I'm overanalyzing things a bit, but if you can get like an early tank, like an early tank or an early tank augment, that's gonna be really big because tanks are just powerful in early game and backline carries because you can't like really put as many units in the back. They can be a bit scuffed, especially as assassins are like coming back into the meta. Especially like syndicates. I think syndicate like assassin like Shaco is gonna be like so much more powerful. So right here, he goes a mercenary start. And this is I see this like a lot from like when I watch like challengers, like I see like a lot of mercenary, and it's because early game econ is and the reason why like you see like Yordles for econ instead of just playing Yordles is because early game econ, if you can like get really good early game econ, you can do like you have so much flexibility in what to do. Like you could like you can uh, if you have like a lot of like money, like you just have like a safety net. Like sacking some HP early game, like if it's not like that big because early game damage is not that much compared to late game damage, but if you can like get like a fat lose streak or like you can try like win streak with this as well, but if you can like get a lot of money, then like a lot of like gold in the early game, like you can either decide to, if you find like a reasonably like strong board in the middle, then you can try like go like play really greedy and go for like level 7, level 8, and then roll like a lot of gold at level 8, and that should just like win you the game. Or like if you're weak, like obviously you're lose streaking, or maybe you're win streaking and you get a lot of econ, which is ideal. But if you're lose streaking, you get perfect items, you can roll at like 6 and 7, and you can really like put pressure on the lobby. Like you can roll for like a comp that really is really powerful at like 6, like for example like a Cogmal comp, and or like any like comp. I think not sure how powerful. Like I think there's like a Cogmal variant that uses like not level 3 Cogmal actually, but you just play level 2 Kog'Maw and just put a bunch of supporting units, and that's gonna give you like a pretty strong like carry and a pretty strong comp. But like if you can like play a comp that spikes at 6 or even 7, and that is played around like a 3 cost, well, you can not only put a lot of pressure on the lobby, you can also like pretty much guarantee almost a top 6 placement, because there's gonna be like some players greeting, and if you're just rolling at 6, you're putting a lot of damage into the lobby, then like you're gonna like bring those like really greedy players to low HP, and also you're gonna be like strong. Like you're not gonna bleed at level 6 or 7, and like you probably might even win streak, and you can roll at 8 to like kind of stabilize your board, find those 3-star carries. But just looking for early game econ, I think, is a really powerful thing, and I see. I see like especially Korean and Chinese players do it a lot. They love to open fort. They love to lose streak at the beginning just because early game econ just provides a lot of options. Again, I'm not the best player, so might be bullshitting, but this is mainly for myself. Still want to make it viewer friendly, so that's why I'm more analyzing things still. Um, so right here, he does lose the first one, like the first round. He is placing 2 units next to Misfortune to guard against assassins, but and like if like it doesn't work, like let's say like he's not going against an assassin player, then like simply Leona will take some aggro. But since Leona has like a relatively quick charging ult, well, she's gonna take a lot of damage. She's gonna like activate her shield, and she can actually like solo frontline for quite a bit, just enough for like these like not Quinn. Quinn's frontlining here, kind of, but that's only because she's not in range. Like she has to move into range. I mean, it's also the Blitzcrank. Not because she's not in range, sorry, but like the Blitzcrank, I think. But Malawi's gonna move up just in time for to peel for Leona. That being said, like this is pretty smart positioning by Bebe. I did say that Bebe is a master of positioning, but like okay, let me do. But the thing is that he has mainly level 1 units, and like they have a level 2 like Twisted Fate with Morello. So he's not going to like real. That's not going to be like really powerful for him. Well, like that's not going to be like really power. Like his board is not really powerful for against this because like level 2 Twisted Fate with Morello with a mana item, like Twisted Fate just casts like too much and does too much damage. And also it's magic damage, which Bodyguard doesn't really do that much for. Like compared to like attack, like just pure AD. That being said, most early game damage is just pure AD instead of like AP damage. So like Bodyguard is still like really powerful early game, and he does have Mercenary, so he is kind of hedging for those losses. Like he loses, he still gets Econ in return. That's why Mercenaries is played a lot. It actually like can't like to an extent minimizes the risk. So right here, he's actually going to make 10 gold. And the reason he's doing that is because I think it's because look at his items. Look at his like units. So right here, he has like Misfortune, which is like an AP caster. When his items are mainly towards like AD, like he does have Shroud as well. She like he could also make Titan's Resolve, but Titan's Resolve is pretty bad for like these units, and it doesn't really do that much. And Last Whisper, like sure it shreds armor and it say like most early game damage is AD, but on the other hand, like his comp he doesn't even have like a attack damage like a carry. So like he isn't going to like get that much done with any of these items. So he's saying, "Hey, I'm okay with loose streaking here. I'm just going to make 10 gold. I'm just going to like try to turn up the tempo when once I am actually strong. Like when I get like a good second item off of this and I get like a good roll for my items. Like some good units for my items and then I can start leveling up, maybe even rolling some gold and Bebe's being chilling. So like right here, he's just trying to he's positioning all his units towards one side, and this is an important concept because what he wants to do is he just wants to like focus fire. He just wants to like kill one unit. He's not gonna win, but like by putting all his units in one side, he's gonna like get at least one kill, hopefully, but usually. Like he almost gets the Vi like really low despite having a really weak board, but and that would save him 2 HP, I think. But still, good attempt, and like you can save like any bit of HP, then it helps. So right here, he's still at a lose streak. He's like he has its 2 lose streak. He's gonna get first item pick if he continues it. He's scouting a bit to look for. He sees most of the carries are on the right side. I'm surprised he doesn't use like the blitz.gg overlay. He's probably like so good he can just keep track of it on his head. Like Koreans are really known for high APM and just like really good mechanics. So as well as Chinese players as well. Like the world champion of the last TFT like set, like he won because he just dodged like 3 Zephyrs in a row, and like that was really good. So like he moves like his units to the right. He actually sells a Quinn. Like he's moving his units to the right to not a Quinn, like a Camille, to like focus fire on this side. I think he might be afraid of just like breaking his win like loss streak here. So that's why he sold a unit. This means he can't really like kill units with like 3v4 and like there's a guardian angel, no items. But on the other hand, it prevents him from griefing his loss streak. If he griefs his loss streak here, then he's not gonna like recover for quite a bit, even with like the mercenaries, because like especially as mercenaries, fat lose streak, you get a lot of items when you finally break it, or gold, or like units, and he wants to keep it as long as possible. So right here, I'm interested to see what item he'll go for. He goes for the sword. Looks like he's like committing towards an AD comp. And right here, like there is a Alawi pair. He can be a bit more liberal in like putting units here. He's still focus firing. Normally, you wouldn't see like a backline Vi here, but he's just pooling all his units on one side. This is really clever, but he's pooling all of his units on one side to focus fire on this direction. And any like if the enemy like for example has like a really weak unit somewhere in the front, well, or really weak tank, well, like this comp will just like burst it down, like it will just burst it. So if they do have a strong front line, he probably won't kill anything with this setup, but with a weak front line, he can absolutely punish. So right here, he's putting the weaker units. He's afraid of griefing his own loss streak, but like he's just playing cautiously. He is scouting to see like whether he has any winning matchups. But as you can see, a bit of a scare here. Even with like Alawi Vi should still win. Like the Vi will shred armor, but he doesn't have like that much AD damage. But he just wants to play it safe. And he keeps lose streaking. He keeps his loss streak. And like when he cashes out, he's gonna like spike very hard. And I see this like a lot with like the Korean and like the Chinese players. They really love like taking big risk and like really pushing the tempo when they can. Like they're really good at like I want like just managing their tempo. Like for example, when they're weak, they're not afraid to like sack like a lot of rounds. Like Korean players and Chinese players, they don't like no streaking as much as like the other regions. But on the other hand, like they love low streaking because it gives them a chance to like come back from like a really difficult start. You lose streak, you get like a lot of econ. You high roll, or like even if you don't high roll, like you're still going to like get like a good win streak, and that's going to like save you a lot of HP in the mid game. And mid game you lose more HP, so that's why they're willing to sack the early game. And also, like if you can like push your win streak like really hard, well, you can actually get like really strong for the late game, especially if you're playing a comp like that like has a 3-star win condition. Like you get Shaco 3 for example, and boom, you win. Like it's a really good comp. Or like you might not win against like legendary comps, but you're at least top 2. So like lose streaking allows you to not only like come back from bad starts. If you're just no streaking and you have a really weak start, then like you're basically playing for like top 5 or top 6. Like you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. But like by lose streaking, he gives himself like a chance to win, and he does it a lot. I'll post a link to an analysis video in the description that like from a much better player than I am, but he does the same there. Like he goes for a 3-cost carry, and he pushes for level 3, and then he just like does some amazing positioning to like really beat like those difficult matchups. So right here, okay, so he now has like a shit ton of items. Um, if he wants to go, he has like a couple possibilities. He could go Ginsu's, like i.e. Ginsu's. Probably not Sunfire because Sunfire is just meh. Frozen Heart, sure, maybe, and then you still have the IE Ginsu's, or he could go like Giant Slayer, like Giant Slayer, like Jeweled Gauntlet, but that sounds kind of scuffed, especially as he needs to spike like mid game. There's like no like units that really pass that threshold until like late game. And even late game with like Scion and Galio being like less common, I don't think that building Giant Slayer is as good. So right here, he's probably gonna continue his lost streak for one more round. Sometimes they actually like sack until 3-5 and get a fat payout. I think that's what he might do. He might just and like the Chinese players, this like the Chinese players and the Korean players, they love to like sack until 3-5. Usually open forting, you sack until 3-2, but like if you're like really confident in your own play, you can actually like sack until 3-5. And you only have like a 2 or 3 rounds to win, but on the other hand, you just get like a fucking insane power spike and you get so much like econ. And like you could potentially push level 8 or level 9 like really easily. Depends on like, but it is very risky. So right here, he's placing Static Shiv, a really common misfortune item, and he's slamming items now. He's probably one of the reasons he might be doing this. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm gonna predict here. He might just be pushing 3-5 and he wants to like kill units and like these are actually really good misfortune items because okay, let's take a look at like the like this again. So misfortune, quite fast attack speed, but most importantly, well, not okay. Let's take a look. I wouldn't say like this is fast per se for 3 cost. Okay, well, let's see misfortune. She's beaten by Samira, Gangplank, Echo, but he is like I mean she is like pretty like fast, like reasonably in terms of attack speed. But more importantly, Misfortune does magic damage. And like shredding the magic resist of like so many units and then going for like the Morello that cuts the healing. It's gonna be really good against like the enchanter comps that he'll probably see like later into like the game. And like the big AoE damage combined with the shredding the magic resist is just going to be chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. So like right here, he almost wins this. He almost wins this. He just continues his lose streak though. So he's I think he was considering slamming another item, but he'll realize that he's gonna win. So he's just edging like towards winning and winning, not winning. Like he's just edging towards like losing, continuing his lose streak, but also like killing as many units as possible, like saving HP. Now I think he's going to roll a 3-5. And in terms of these items, what can he roll for? He could roll for Malzahar. These, I mean, there are like a, there are like a couple options. He's actually like right here, contrary to my expectation, he's actually going for more AP, or he might be going for like a mix of two of the both. But if he's rolling at 7, he's probably rolling for a 4 cost carry. Like possible options here might be maybe Lux. What else? These would be really good Fiora items. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's see. These would be really good Fiora items, I think. Like Fiora is kind of like a mixed carry, and let's see. Let's check the description. But like I mean, she just doesn't really do like magic damage. That you still see like Jeweled Gauntlet on Fiora just because just to give her ability like crit potential. That doesn't mean she's like an AD and like an AP caster. You see a lot of like just AD items, Infinity Edge, for example, and yeah. So right here, he's scouting the lobby a bit. He now has like he chooses target dummies, and okay, let me actually see like So like he gets the augments. There's like hyper roll. Hyper roll's probably not gonna be that good here. Well, it's probably like really shit. And the other thing is I think it's item grab bag, but there's so much RNG, it's so inconsistent. But target dummies PCs like there's a lot of like Blitzcrank players. Like Blitzcrank's a lot played a lot in this meta because Blitzcrank is just like provides really good utility as well as bodyguard. Like the pole is just going to live in their head rent free and mess up with their positioning. And like also like I don't think there's like a lot of assassin players, but he also sees that his front line here is just a bit scuffed. So there are quite a lot of reasons, but possibly a lot of reasons. No assassin players, it looks like, or at most one, but I think it's the Blitzcranks and stuff. And also the other augments just suck. So right here, we're going to see if he wins this. He's probably not going to win this. But let's take a look at his positioning. So he's scouting right, left, right, left. He's kind of deciding whether to position for the sniper player or like the or like the Kog'Maw or like the Ezreal, but absolutely like the sniper plus the Kog'Maw with a bow, it's gonna just do like more damage. Especially as this Kog'Maw isn't really that powerful. Ezreal doesn't really do that much damage. And like even then, Ezreal would just hit like the target dummies. So he gets the Ezreal player. Almost kills the Ezreal. As you can see, Ezreal's just doing more damage to like the target dummies. Eventually does lose to the Ezreal, but he's just like edging towards the line of losing while killing as many units as possible. Just really like calculated play, really good mechanics with like it's clear that he loves to do this a lot. Like that's why he can grief until 3-5. Normally if you're open forting and you're not trying to kill as many units, you're at 48 HP at round 3-2, but he survives to like fucking 3-5 and has 48 HP. And mercenaries. He's gonna like get a fat win streak here from now on. Like he's just gonna be like so damn powerful. His win streak is just going to be so big, and like he's gonna streak for like 5 or 6 or 7 rounds without losing. And even if he loses, he still has like 4 or 5 lives to play with, like 3 or 4 if you're like later, but like later into the game, but because more damage. But he gets a Seraphine. Um, let's see what else he gets. Or does he roam like he has to win to cash out? So he's now going to be sweating and positioning. He levels up to 7. So now he's like sweating positioning. Okay, so and he places Misfortune in the center. Okay, it's kind of hard to see here. I think we need to slow it down. Why did he position MF in the center? So 3, 4, 7, 14. So right here, there is a Blitzcrank. Doesn't want to place it here, of course. Echoes in the socialite spot. Right. Oh, so like there's a Misfortune here. There's a Caitlyn. There's a potential that like if he places it here, Caitlyn might snipe the Misfortune because the Talon's gonna travel to the back line. Talon might kill the might kill the Caitlyn, but if it doesn't, well, I think the Caitlyn's might aim for Misfortune. But like if he places it like towards the center. If he places it towards the center, then there's a chance that the Caitlyn would just snipe the Quinn instead. And also, pretty split positioning as well. Because he sees the Misfortune player, if the Misfortune, like, if his units are clumped, then it's going to do a lot of AoE damage. Especially, like, Misfortune's probably going to attack the Alawi. Or, like, if the Misfortune moves up, then eventually it's just going to be the backline. But right here, by not clumping up his units, it means Misfortune will have to have, like, one more cast before, like, doing the same amount of damage. So really good, like, micro positioning here. And he's like even like putting his mouse. And the Talon just is just gonna go on the left. I mean, like, attack their left side. So right here, as you can see, let's take a look at this matchup. Let's see if this positioning made a difference. So right here, the fact that he has two assassins means that there's going to be, like, he has to place one target dummy here. So unfortunately, he doesn't have like a second frontliner. He has to like kind of play for like Blitzcrank from this direction. Otherwise, his Seraphine's gonna be pulled. But like there's a huge gap like in his front line, and if he places anyone like over here, then they're gonna get once like once like once like the enemy team has dealt with the front line and maybe the assassins. These two are gonna be the next. So he's making sure that his Quinn and like Vi are like going to be the first ones to be targeted, keeping his Misfortune safe. Even though his Misfortune has GA is just like not that powerful like anymore compared to before because you're like at 200 HP, and there's like no enchanters, so like it's not like this damage can be healed up, especially as they also have like Morello. So right here, you can see Blitzcrank pulls. Vi does eventually serve as a frontliner, but still, there's an opening in this direction. And his Misfortune safe. None of his key units are like aggroed on. And like his Misfortune, like staying alive is crucial. I mean, he probably would have won it with the Seraphine, but you could imagine like if the enemy's board was just a bit stronger, how it could be bad for him. So right here, he gets like a fucking big cash out. He's at 57 gold at 3-6 level 7. Now this is the value. Now this is when he's gonna pop off. So this is gonna be like a pretty difficult transition. So he's actually going to. Okay, let me see what he's gonna do. He might not transition here because like it's really damn hard to transition into a comp like a level 7 comp when you're just playing like a ragtag bunch of units. So he might just wait and like sack a bit more HP. Like he's not that weak and he's got like his positioning is really strong. Even if he loses, he loses only by a couple units, but he might be just waiting until like the neutral round and then like looking for his comp there. Like Baby's a really hyper flexible player, so he's not. So he does need time to like decide what his comp's gonna be. Alternatively, he could just roll now, but Baby's by like a general standards, a pretty greedy player. Like he uses positioning a lot to bail him out of situations. So like he's slamming Frozen Heart. It makes sense because like he already has like a tier item. And Frozen Heart's also like pretty good on the assassins because you can like the assassins jump to the backline, slow down the attack speed, and like combined with Echo's ability, it's really good. But you can see his position's around the same. Right here, the Vi's gonna be pulled by this Blitzcrank. He does get like shrouded. Like his echo does get shrouded, but his main carry is at least safe. He doesn't want to place it here just because like of the shroud, obviously. And also you can see like this wall of units protecting the misfortune. Just really good like micro positioning. And Talon's still here because I think he saw a lot of carries here, but still gonna like travel to here. At worst, he gets through like the really weak Darius and it travels to the back line. And but like the Echo's just gonna take care of like the main carry. And it's gonna buy enough time for Misfortune to shred the magic resist and get a lot of casts off. Like in order for this comp to like win by like a lot, it has to like it has to like get like early picks. And right here, he does lose this matchup, but it could be worse. He uses 8 HP, but that guarantees that he has time to think about what comp he wants to go. And also, um, as you can see, buys enough time for Seraphine to cast. Doesn't really kill like any additional units, but whatever. He's just trying to save HP here, and he does. So right here, he still has mercenaries. Interesting to see like what comp he'll go. He does has a Ginsu's. This could be Jeweled Gauntlet. Could work on like an AP unit. There's a lot of options. There's also Runons, but like the only like I don't think he has like the units for like a 4 cost carry that does use Runons. Like not Jin because Runons on Jin is kind of questionable, but like I'm talking about Urgot and Yon, for example. So maybe like Ginsu's. These could be really good Kaisa items. You maybe ditch the Shiv, but okay, what's the Kaisa attack speed actually? But like, oh, like actually, it can be good Kaisa item because like amazing attack speed combined with just combined with like the fact that she does damage like the units that he's applying, like she's applying the shred to. So she's actually, I mean, so baby's actually going level 8 and like rolling at 8. And I think the reason he's actually doing this here is because like he does have quite a mishmash of items. And generally speaking, when you have like 4 cost units, like 4 cost comps, there are not many like any hybrid options. If you have like both AP and AD items and like attack speed items, well, like you're not gonna get like that many opportunities to put them on like units. But 5 costs, they're not as reliant on synergies. So now like he gets Jinx, and like he's gonna natural a lot of like 5 cost units from like level 8, like 5% chance, like 5 times chance. But like as you can see now, like he naturals a Jinx, finally good AD holder for like the AD items he can build. Like ideally, like he might just want like ideally like it would be he gets just pure AD or pure AP, for example, or like actually not here like tank items, but like if you have like a mishmash of AD and AP items, well, going level 8 is not a bad choice because because like the you can go multiple 5 cost carries and like they don't really rely on synergies as much as 4 cost or 3 cost carries. So you don't need to like And he has Nikos as well, so he could turn any one cost carry into a two cost. But really smart decision here to go eight. Allows him to use the AP and AD items, like his mishmash of items, so to speak. He sells Misfortune. Hmm. Like he sells Misfortune because to apply to GA. And oh, this is actually an interesting itemization I want to go over. So so right here we see, look at these items. There's GA, there's GE and Quicksilver, like QSS. But like, why is he putting two defensive items on his carry? And the reason is because he has a scaling item. And when you have a scaling item, you want to make sure that this damn thing lives as long as possible. And like casts, like, shoots as long as possible, because Ginsu's gains attack speed with like attacks. Well, what do you want? You want no CC? Like the CC is gonna become pretty heavy late game. So like, if Jinx just gets like CC to like hell, then she's not gonna build attack speed. She's gonna be useless. And if she gets like one shot, well, all the attack speed you built is just gonna be like down the drain. So, so really smart decision. Like he even sells like the level 2 MF, but it's not like the MF's gonna be like his main carry. And the MF's main utility now is just going to be like reducing healing. But even then, he's probably gonna replace it because he already has Morello. He's keeping MF just because it's good for holder for Morello and Shiv. So right here, he should win streak from now. You can see Jinx just does like so much damage. And with this like with this type of comp, he's probably gonna go more of like a high sustain like type of comp. So he wants to like go towards units like Braum, like tanks like Jace, Tom Kench, for example. Like just like really expensive tanks. But you need, or like, and also enchanters potentially, or anything with healing. Socialite would also be good because it would help power the, like, it would help like, the Jinx even further. But he's probably gonna like improve the front line, like his front line. His front line's still like pretty weak. He has Alawi, isn't that good late game. Braum is really good. Adds like now he's not. Also, like, notice that he's now adding utility units. So Lyssandra's a really good holder for, also like a really good, probably even better than Misfortune. But also like the fact that since he doesn't need the damage from Misfortune anymore, he's going like more of a utility unit in the form of Lysandra. Actually, or he goes Gangplank for Twin Shot, but he puts back his Lysandra. And he's actually gonna put it on Echo. I was thinking that he's gonna like put it on Lysandra because Lysandra Morello is just really good. But I'm guessing that Lysandra's attack speed isn't that good. It's 0.6. So, and like this still like reduces healing. Like he puts Morello, but this still reduces healing to like the backline units once like Echo casts his ability. Okay, so now it's time for the positioning. He makes 10 gold here because he has a bunch of junk on his board. He's okay, and like the direction from here is he's probably going to replace the Vi, and potentially he's going to replace, like, this is still like valuable. You might replace this with something like Urgot later on, but like he wants to replace these cheap ass units. These are just like really hook bots. Like he doesn't want his expensive shit to be hooked, so it's like cheap unit. Blitzcrank is really common nowadays, even more common than it was before, even late game. But he's gonna want to replace it with like something better. That being said, he can't really scout that well because he's just like transitioning his board. But we'll see. He does try to scout a bit. So let's actually 0.25 this. So places Morello like Shiv on Echo, moves GP, sees like Galio. Galio's going to land on the largest clump of units. So he's actually splitting his units into two, like splitting his board. This is really common against CC units like Scion and Galio. But Galio's going to land over here, which means his carry is going to be safe. But you might be wondering, what if they just shoot the carry instead? Well, first, let's see if there's any like threat. He's placing the bodyguard like the bodyguard will taunt attack, so it's not like the aggro will be toggled towards Jinx immediately. And second, Jinx has two defensive items, so like no stuns, no damage. Like no damage can actually like kill the Jinx immediately. Okay, right here, he's positioning for this matchup, and he gets this matchup. And right here, neither the Scion or the Galio is going to stun the Jinx. Now, that being said, it does have QSS, but like also, take a look at this. Look at what the main carry is. It's a Fiora, but the Fiora is going to, because of the bodyguard taunt, as well as like the Lissandra positioned around here, she's just going to go this way and like aggro on these units, not over here. And there is some protection here as well, but just amazing positioning. Scion does get a cast on Jinx here, but I don't think Galio will. And like Jinx has QSS. Right here, as you can see, he's just piling on damage from behind. Like Jinx is, I mean, not Baby. So right here, he naturals a Mundo in the shop, and like now he's looking to improve his front line a bit. Because this front line is still like transitional. You always want to like when you're going to the late game, always want to replace the cheapest units with like more expensive variations. Even if you have to like lose some synergies for it. They're just better. There's better units. The synergies won't be worth it. Especially if they just like kill like your cheap ass 1-star 2-cost units. Because they will. So like he's going for like the Zac Mundo pair. He's actually like trying to use dice because he feels that if he doesn't get a good front line soon, he will like bleed. He will bleed a bit because like Braum 1 and Vi 1 isn't enough. So you can see he's replacing with a more expensive front line. He loses Twin Shot, but it's completely worth it for like two the two brawlers and the Mundo like Zac pair. And he gets Kaisa as well. So bonus. Those are really good. That's a really good unit for like Morello and Shiv. He's gonna place Morello and Shiv. And he doesn't have enough time to position here. And like they're like it goes against like a Kog'Maw reroll player. Now he places Zac in the back line for two reasons. First, he wants to give some protection to Jinx, even though Jinx probably wouldn't need that much protection. But also like Mundo's also a pretty good solo tank, and Seraphine will heal Mundo at least once. So like he just wants like as many units as possible to clump around the Mundo, which is actually really effective in this matchup. like if these three units clump around Mundo, then half the board has like lower attack speed. This is huge, especially like these 3 stars. Sorry, had to fix something. You can see right here. He might lose. Actually, he doesn't. Like as you can see, I don't know if the the frozen heart applies to this, but as you can see, they're clumping around the frozen heart. Jinx gets a cast once. Jinx does like a lot of damage. Does take quite a bit of aggro here. So the problem is just that Jinx does take a bit of aggro here. So how might he position like to prevent that? Well, as far as I know, like he doesn't need to place like the Vi here because the QSS will just block the Blitzcrank hook. So and there is no Blitzcrank here, so he could just bring the Vi up to there. Second, he doesn't need the Vi. Like it gives Bruiser Enforcer, but no Enforcer. Actually, like oh, they do get Sister though, so like I think he's gonna keep the Vi. Oh, I forgot, but I think he can just put the Vi in the front line. Like not in the front line. It's just gonna die, but probably somewhere here. And like also we're gonna take a look at the enchanters. Um, Janna Oriana, and also I mean this is fine, but probably like the Vi doesn't need to be back there. But still, like the reason was because like the okay, let me see what the Zac. And the reason is because like this Lysandra is preventing the Zac from moving up. So I actually think here, like Lysandra will get a better stun, but against this matchup, like the units are so like separated that it probably doesn't really matter. So probably I want the Mundo like over here, so that the Mundo can move up a bit and prevent this Jinx from being focused. The GA saves him though, so that's why you want the GA. So right here he gets Urgot, big. That gives Twin Shot. And also Chemtech as well. I'm not Chemtech. Already has 3 Chemtech. So now he's positioning. You can see, look at his APM. It's amazing. So right here, we're gonna take a look at what he's looking for. So 18 seconds. Now looks to scout. Realizes that he doesn't. Can see he sees the Blitzcrank on the left. It's just gonna hook the Vi. Bit hard like to see here because like he's just scrolling through his enemies so quickly. He's already faced this opponent. There is like a Blitzcrank here. There's like a TK. Probably wants to place like one of the target dummies here. The Scion will also like it won't hit the Jinx, so probably won't matter as much the position against the Scion. So as you can see, puts the target dummy here. Wants to place like a wall of units over here. Sees the Blitzcrank over here. That's why he's moving it behind. He sees like the Jin. Jin is probably isn't gonna get like a cast before Jinx is able to cast his ult. I mean her ult. So right here, so 5 seconds remaining. Sees like there's a Jin and an Urgot player that he hasn't went against. I need to pause some of these. So like a lot of the carries are on the left. Okay, this player's now itemizing the carries. Damn. Damn, like look at that APM. What's the Oriana here? There's still the not the Kog'Maw player, but he sees like two of like the AD like players, the Jin and the Urgot. They're positioned around here. So like if they aggro onto the Zac, then some shots might just reach these two, like this area, this region. But like if he positions over here, then the Mundo will walk a bit to the left probably, and like the shots will just come this way instead. And also, I mean like the Jinx will land on the will land in, like the center. I'm not sure how like not like entirely sure how Jinx landing works, but centermost enemy dealing magic, so like it isn't dependent on his positioning here. But like at least he's placing and he gets the Tom Kench player. But at least he's kind of like separating his enemies, like his units. So if they're like a Scion Galio this way, then like his carries won't get hit. Well, at least one of his carries won't get hit. So you can see either aggro's this way or aggro's this way. So he places it over to the right. So like it's like he's kind of splitting his carries. And he goes against like the Tom Kench carry player. See if his this split positioning pays off. It also prevents like any AoE ults, like Seraphine ult. So right here lands in the center. His carries get unaffected. Casts the Seraphine ult won't really do that much to the Jinx because QSS. But like as you can see, the Tom Kench it eats like the target dummy. The Blitz pulls the target dummy. And this matchup was pretty stacked towards him, to be honest. But still, kill as many units as possible. If Tom Kench ate a unit, that's like 2 HP. Like, well, that's like I think at least 3 or 4 HP difference, and that can be significant. Like in a first or like in placement, especially late game. Like kill as many units as possible, especially in the late game. It's still important, still very important. Not only when you're lose streaking. So right here, gets the Bruiser augment. Will get 4 Bruiser here, or he might potentially go to 2 Bruiser find way to put twin shot, but I don't think he has to actually, so he doesn't. Yeah. Um, he still does have to roll a bit because he is not only low HP, but these boards with like all these legendary units, they are gonna cap pretty soon. So he does have to match the tempo of like the lobby here and play like pretty expensive units. And like look for like pretty expensive units and play them. And look for upgrades as well. You don't want like one star enchanters on your like going against like these fully capped legendary boards. You need to have a strong board. Like a strong board for late game. So he is like pretty stable now. Still has like the 1 star Janna and the 1 star like he might just roll in a bit just to like find these just like 2 star these units. It would probably be a good idea, but like he's just letting his econ rest a bit because he knows that he isn't going to he isn't going to probably lose with like two legendary units until they fully cap their boards. Like remember, this is still he's actually playing at like a higher like tempo, which means that he gets once he like caps his board, he gets to like just econ for a bit and just rest while like they're trying to scramble to find like their level 8 boards because normally you level 8 at 5-1, 4-5 if you're like really like if you're win streaking or sometimes even 4-2. But like he did level up at 4-2 here and but like typically it's 4-5 or 5-1 and the transitions are messy. So like he's like transitions are like going to be messy, like especially when you're transitioning from a mid game board to a late game board. But Baby has had like 4 turns to do it, and he has like a pretty good board. He's probably gonna like replace like some of these units with legendaries later on, but like he doesn't need to rush things because he's just outpacing the lobby, and he has more time to make those like decisions, and like more time to econ like later into the game, and eventually look for a capped board while they're just scrambling to roll all their gold and look for a capped legendary board. And while he's doing that, he's exploiting the fact that these boards are going to be weaker because of the transition, and he's just going to get a lot of win streak gold. So and do a lot of damage as well. So right here, he does see a Lux player. There is a Lux player. The Lux will, if he goes against the Lux player, the Lux will target the furthest unit. So it will like potentially target the Jinx. But let's see. Let's see if will that actually matter. Okay. So 10, 7, 6, 5. Can't see it that clearly. How to do this. I'm not keeping track of like, the last 3, but I'm just seeing like whether any of these would affect how he positions. Bebe is a master of positioning. That's his biggest asset by far. And econ as well, but mainly positioning. Like he probably has the best positioning of like the big streamers, so to speak. But like I think the reason why he's positioning like closer to here. Oh hi, how's it going? And also, oh, this is the future, as I said. So like you see, he goes against a Seraphine, but those level 1 Lux isn't gonna do that much to the Jinx. And like in any case, like he's not gonna target the like the Kaisa. I mean, she's not gonna target the Kaisa, but like I think he's prioritizing the other matchups more right here because the Lux is going to hit the Jinx. Maybe like the Jinx does like fly off, but the Jinx doesn't have any mana items or anything, so you probably shouldn't put mana items on Jinx. But on the other hand, it will make it so she's slower to cast her ult. She doesn't get the Lux player, but she's I mean, he's prioritizing the other matchups more. So right here, um, the level 2, like, at least he's splitting his carries. This is really important, especially in the lobby with, like, Sion Galio. Like, you want to make it so they can't hit 2 carries at once. Sure, like, maybe, like, there's a QSS, like, for this. It will prevent Sion and Galio from, like, doing anything to this. But on the other hand, the Kai'Sa's more vulnerable. Now he gets the Heimer player, and he sees most of the carries are on this side. But, like, they're not... He's not positioning for the Lux, remember? Like, he's positioning for like, you know, the carries that don't have like that much range. So he's like maximizing the distance that is Urgot and Jinx has to do, and he's positioning his Kai'Sa here as well. Like, because he doesn't want to like split like his carries. He doesn't want like all his carries to be clumped up. But on the other hand, this is still safe because Kai'Sa's gonna dash towards the farthest unit. And like you can see, not like, you know, the far away from like, you know, the enemy. That's what I meant. Sorry. And she's like, Kai'Sa's gonna be safe. So right here does a lot of damage. Continues win streak. So right here we have the, you know, the like the last items for him. Ideally, like right here, maybe Jeweled Gauntlet, or for example, would be ideal. But you can see he's trying to build Thieves' Gloves off of that glove. He wants to put like a third. He doesn't want to like. He wants Thieves' Gloves because it's pretty powerful if you can put him on a like like put it on, for example, Urgot. Yeah, like put it on him, and he'll do like quite a bit of extra damage. Okay. So right here, 45 gold, has quite good econ, has a win streak. Pretty good for him right now. Still needs to like keep up his guard, continue his win streak. So he's not scouting as hard now. He's kind of thinking. You can't really like think really hard and scout really hard at the same time. You have to like prioritize one or the other. But he's splitting his carries again. Otherwise, the Lux could potentially hit the Jinx. And even though the Jinx probably won't die because of like the QSS and GA, you don't want the Jinx to be taking a lot of damage because she'll be jumping into the enemy backline, and that's going to be a danger point for Jinx. So right here, he's like splitting his carries. He he puts Urgot as well. Like Urgot, uh, his Urgot's actually gonna be pretty safe due to like the tank items, but you can see like he puts the. I don't think there are like too many Blitzcranks here. I haven't seen one in a while, but there's like the target dummy over here. The Jinx won't get pulled due to QSS, and he's chilling. Now, if there's something I could improve, it would probably be like to put like the Janna like over here, just because it will like the Lux ult will hit the Janna. I think it is gonna hit like a lot. Actually, it doesn't. He's putting like Lissandra like forward just because it will hit like the backline. And narrowly wins, but But imagine if he didn't put his like his Jinx, like he put his Jinx on this side. The Lux ult would hit. The Jinx might give Jinx a bit of ult charge, but on the other hand, like the Jinx might die or have GA toggled, and that's going to like prevent this Jinx from absolutely prevent this Jinx from scaling like with the Ginsus. And see the Blitz ult. So let's say hello to the next fight. He's he's like scouting again. Most of the carries on the right sees like a Lux player. There's a Jhin. Most of the dangerous carries are gonna shoot this way. So there is a Jhin. The Jhin might do quite a bit of damage. But right here, let's see how his positioning like prevents that from happening. So the Jhin might just toggle on like this Zac and bam, bam, not gonna do a thing. Like by the time like Jhin casts like his ult because like Kai'Sa's a mana item, Kai'Sa's just gonna dash away from the Jhin, and like it's gonna go into Mundo, but the Mundo like the Mundo might be dangerous, like a bit dangerous, and like but like by the time that happens, the Jinx would have already like casted her ult. So he's making sure that Jhin doesn't hit the not only Jhin but also the Lux over here doesn't hit like his main carry, and also he's putting the Urgot on this side just because he sees most of the carries are over here. Wants to like shred the front line as much as possible, and also like that this is like another unit that could draw aggro here. So even though it is a carry, so like it would help like the Jinx like survive while like they're in the back lines. You can see goes against a Kog'Maw player, and the Urgot actually buys time. And also, like, the wide spread of units prevents Caitlyn from sniping the backline. Sorry. Can't pull the Jinx here. This might be a losing matchup because of because like the Kog'Maw, he isn't gonna be able to like shred. Maybe he wins this. Like the Jinx will also scale. Boom. And he wins this matchup. And let's see if his positioning helped him here. So, first of all, as I mentioned, they cracked through this like weak front line, like this section of like the board, but like the Urgot's tanking like some of the aggro, allowing like Kai'Sa to live. Kai'Sa and Jinx to live, or like not take as much damage. You can see the Garen 3 does shoot the Urgot instead of like the Jinx or the Kai'Sa. Probably won't make a difference here, but will make a slight difference. Like the gap like in the front line as well. Like he's placing his Mundo to prevent like any aggro from going this way, but on the other hand, he's leaving a gap here. Like this gap doesn't matter. And also like no units are gonna like most one unit's gonna be shrouded here. So like the Frozen Heart hits a lot of the critical like 3-stars. And that prevents Kassadin from like activating his stun. And like small stuns can absolutely matter. It will buy more time for Kog'Maw to scale off of attack speed. So he has a big win streak. He's gonna push level 9 here. Even if he loses 1 or 2, he's gonna get level 9. He can cap off this board with like possibly another legendary unit. Maybe like what options does he have? Like in the worst case, you could go something like Malzahar. Not ideal, of course, but because mutant. Not sure what the mutant bonus is this game, but also could go a second enchanter or Yuumi. Yuumi is probably like the best option. If he doesn't hit Yuumi, then he can go Jace and look for like 2 enforcer, and that would help against like some of the reroll comps that they're running, especially like the high HP like units would just like stop from casting. So a lot of options. I think he's gonna go Yumi, just because Yumi's like I don't think like going Jace would be too helpful here. It would shred the armor and magic resist, which actually maybe Jace because he has both AP and AD threats, and Jace would in the front line would shred both armor and magic resist. But right here, we're gonna see how he positions. He isn't scouting that hard here, I think. He doesn't scout here. But still, now his units are a bit more spread out. Luxhold doesn't hit. Luxhold just like... Now this player made a mistake by not placing a unit here. One of the target dummies should be here. Because like... So the Kaisa doesn't just... Does just like dodge the Luxhold, but that's gonna be a really hard interaction to worry about. And wait, he already has Yumi. I didn't notice. Fuck. Or is it Yumi? I'm seeing. Am I seeing double? No, it's their Yumi. And relatively unscathed here. He still has like a big win streak. The early loss streak, he just snowballs. Like he knows when to roll just to keep his win streak, and when you're win streaking, even if you spend a lot to maintain it, you're gonna get like some of the gold back, but more importantly, you're saving HP, and HP means econ. Like, think about it this way. If you have HP to sacrifice, you can like be a bit more reckless, knowing that you have HP to sack, but if you're bleeding, then you're gonna have to you're gonna be forced into like bad rolling decisions. So now he goes 9 on 5-5, and that's gonna help him potentially continue his win streak, and as opposed to like playing a bit more greedy, losing more HP. And you might get like a couple better, like you might get like a one more 2-star than you would, but on the other hand, you would lose like so much HP that like you're gonna be on like one fight territory. So he gets the Janna upgrade. He does see a Jace. He backlines Jace here. Oh yeah, he frontlines Jace. Like I was confused why he backlined Jace, because you want frontline Jace to get like the armor and magic resist shred here. So gets Solari. Chooses where to place the Urgot. Again, like the front line's gonna be pretty weak in this direction. So like if some of these carries on the right, they go through Vi and that target dummy. Well, even if Jinx does escape, then there's nothing gonna be able to draw aggro from here, and like Jinx might be the target. That being said, the Zyra is gonna be pretty big here, and he actually loses his matchup because like the Zyra ult is just too powerful when like units are just lined up like this. Like it's almost like a counter to like Solari. So right here, what might have won him this matchup? So right here, like first, first you probably have like some stronger front line here, just to so that your Urgot doesn't get like Urgot doesn't get like toggled on. Maybe Janna goes here, so like Janna doesn't get clumped into the ult. And are there any Blitzcrank players left? There is one more. Sure. Probably you still place it. The target dummy is going to make a big difference. Like, the Vi is placed in a good position. It would shred the armor, allowing Urgot to create a hole in, like, the front line. As you can see. The Vi attack should shred the armor pretty soon. Like, you can see the Braum dies, as I expected. The Janna, okay, I don't think the Janna position is bad. But damn, the Zyra ult was just too big. I don't think there was much he could do positioning wise against this matchup. This was just like a hard counter matchup. Like two, like maybe if he placed, he ignored the locket, but even then, like this is a capped. Like this is like best in slot Lux. We have Malzahar, and you have a pretty good, like a pretty damn good front line. This is a pretty good like Arcanist comp. So so right here, he has like 2 or 3 more lives. That's enough. Like, you lose here, still, you have a chance of top 2. You don't lose here, you go for the win. So right here, he sees, like, Jhin and Lux are this way. There is a Shroud, like, over here, potentially. Now, like, the Jhin will, like, target the Lux. I mean, the Jinx here. I mean, the Lux will target the Jinx. He already went against the Lux player, though, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So he's now positioning for like, the Jhin player. And to a lesser extent, let's slow things down again. It's insane how he like just looks at the board for like 0.2 seconds and knows how to position against it. So he gets Yuumi. That's one of the ways I said you get 2 Scholar, you get really good CC. That's why Yuumi is like just broken. Kind of broken, but broken. Like not broken in the traditional sense, but broken in that like you find Yuumi, there's a pretty big chance you could put it on your board and it would improve it. So he sees like the Shroud doesn't have the position against the Lux, otherwise like probably just put a target dummy over here. There is like the cog here. But he's probably thinking that by the time the cog shreds through this front line, Jinx would have already traveled, and you kind of would want your carries far away from the cog. You want them to aggro on your front line, and also the Jhin as well. The Jhin will probably shoot this way, or like probably not this way, but this way. And you don't, and like right here, the Kai'Sa's positioning is okay because Kai'Sa will go here. Jhin probably won't do anything. There's a locket here. And finally, let's see the Vi positioning. Is he positioning his Vi? Vi won't the Kassadin. He moves his Vi to this, to here. Probably not going to be useful against the Kassadin because of the Shroud. Vi can't cast her ult before like Kog'Maw just kills. If he does face the Braum player, then like Vi here would kill the Braum. And like the Braum does want the Braum to die because the Braum is going to be a more valuable unit versus like a Blitzcrank. So he's positioning to shred armor over here, and but like also the Jace will shred the armor and magic resist as well. So and the Urgot's placed over here just because of the attack speed. I mean the Yumi's placed over here just because of like the attack speed. Yumi's like synergy, like you know, scales off of attack speed. Like Yumi would just get a lot of mana from like Urgot's attack speed. Even though technically Kai'Sa's more at a attack speed. Hmm. Kai'Sa's like 1.2. Urgot has like actually Urgot doesn't have like that much attack speed. It was baited. Like it's not the worst. Like actually, I was wrong. Urgot has like really shit attack speed. I was like doubting myself after thinking that. Like maybe, but on the other hand, doesn't Yumi's ability only scale off auto attacks? So I guess Urgot was his best option. This matchup you should win though. Like the Jinx absolutely does like a lot of damage. Now the Frozen Heart, I'm gonna comment, it isn't gonna be that effective here because of the locket. Like the locket, you kind of want your units to clump up around Mundo, especially as I think he heals from his ability, but so like he can like solo frontline, get like his ult enough time for like the rest of the frontliners to like get up and kind of peel for the Mundo. But okay, right here, couple. We're not gonna. That's not too interesting. Gets Morello, double Morello. Now he rolls for like upgrades. Potential like he's probably still wants like the sister like synergy, but maybe you place like the like two bruiser is gonna be like too effective. I mean, he has four bruiser, but even then, he might just replace the bruiser with legendaries. Oriana, I think Oriana's good, still good. You would look for Oriana 2. Potential to get Janna 2 here. And all right. And he doesn't find a level 2 Jace. He actually takes out his Jace. Since there's going Galio, if you can find Galio too, it's pretty good. But he doesn't exactly have Galio items. And you would lose Bruiser, which, even though it doesn't matter that much, it still matters. So, finds the. What does he replace the Urgot? I mean, the Jace.